Hello, smart money traders. Kenneth Unaji here. Welcome to this week SMC Market Outlook. So this week we'll be looking at the DXY, then we'll now be looking at the Euro USD, then we'll be looking at the Yen index. Among the Yen baskets, we'll now be looking at the Pounds JPY. So follow me to the chart as I give you a total breakdown from the higher time frame to the lower time frame as to how we'll be approaching the market this week. Follow me. So, we always start with the fundamentals. So, starting with the fundamentals here on the 22nd of January, that was from last week. All right. We saw that we got the final GDP to come out at 4.4% as against the previous of 4.3. So, that was a boost for the US economy. All right. So, fundamentally speaking, going by the GDP, the USD, that's the dollar index, is still very, very strong and will be pushing to the upside, fundamentally speaking. And then the other thing I want to also look at now is the JPY. Okay, JPY on the 23rd, that was the next day from last week. They decided to maintain their rate at 0.75%. Okay, even for the forecast from the previous, they maintained this rate at 0.75%. Okay, so I went through the monetary policy, and for the foreseeable future into this year, as in the quarters to come, they're going to be increasing their interest rate gradually over time. Okay, that's to drop their inflation to their target, which is 2%. All right, which is the acceptable standard globally. All right, so that's from last week. So we saw all these two data actually gave us very good volatility last week, causing some market sweeps and liquidity sweeps and all that, which we actually took advantage of and made some profits of. All right, so now coming into this week, okay, coming into this week, my major concern and what I have on the horizon is this right here on Wednesday 28th. Okay, we'll be looking at the FOMC, all right, minutes, and also be looking at the federal fund rates that will be coming out. Okay, we have it as 3.75%. Okay, so let's see if the Feds are going to either increase the rate or they're going to drop the rate. So this is actually my primary concern next week. So that let's see if it will give the dollar index some volatility to the upside or to the downside. And always remember that yes, we don't actually trade the fundamentals, but we trade the reaction of the fundamentals to see how price is going to perform in the coming week. Okay, so let's go to the chart and let's do a thorough breakdown and see what price have for us in the coming week. So right here with me, first on the list, as usual, as a culture, as a tradition, is that we have the DXY. Okay, and what we see and we correctly established from the previous week is that the monthly time frame is still bullish and then making bounces of this trend line. Okay, this trend line right here. So we're still maintaining our bullish bias on the monthly time frame. However, I want us to pay attention to what price is doing currently at this level right here. Last week, we actually expected the market to actually pull into this monthly fair value gap. All right, but of course, just like we had the news and the volatility and all the drama we had last week, and we saw price actually making its way to the downside. So what I see this week happening now is that probably my bias have shifted because I can see that you can see this time frame right here, this candlestick right here. Okay, it's actually threatening. If I will break below this candlestick here on the monthly time frame, then there's every possibility that we'll be heading into this zone right here. And if we can head into this zone right here and price takes out this zone, this monthly frame, then price will be coming all the way to this point right here. However, let's not forget that the markets have given us this pattern on the monthly time frame. Okay, and then we have a break to the upside, and then we have this. Okay, mind you, all these are internal structures. Okay, the internal structures, all right. So all these are internal structures within this range here on the monthly time frame. So even until the market actually take out this low here, we are still bullish. All right. So the market may actually come to this point and go up, or it may break down, but as it stands on the monthly time frame, we are still very, very much bullish. Okay, so nothing much happening here on the monthly time frame. When we go to the weekly, we start seeing things, giving us clearer view of what is actually going down. All right, so as you can see, okay, I'll be looking at trading the market into this zone right here in this coming week. All right, this zone right here. All right, so I'm looking at the market to actually push down, just like we actually maintain on the monthly time frame, on the weekly time frame rather, that the market is bearish. So maybe the market is actually coming to clear some orders up here before going up or before breaking down to the side. We don't know, but we'll see the market reaction. However, when we get to the daily time frame, we'll see more detail about what I'm trying to say. Okay, so from last week, we had the market react from this zone right here. That's this zone right here. So after the market had it bounce from this weekly supply zone, okay, the market came through here, came like this, and then it's now going down again. So we had a daily market structure shift at this point here. We had another one at this point here. So what we're looking for right now is that we can see that, okay, we can see that the market actually gave us a flip zone right here, and then the market reacted off this flip zone last week and then headed to the downside. So what I'm expecting the market to do, and what I expect the market to do, is actually push to the upside, gather some momentum, and then push down into this zone right here. So in this coming week, I'll be looking to sell the dollar index. Okay, so now we go to the 4 hour time frame. What do we see? We see things in more better details, in more clearer details on the 4 hour time frame. Okay, what do we see? We see that the markets have been giving us very nice price action, giving us structure. Okay, we can see what the market is doing. The downside, a break here, and then going up, down, going up, down, going up, give us a break up here, a break here, and then now the market has made this move. Okay, the market has just pushed. All this happened last week. The market pushed to the downside, okay, and then moved to the upside, and then now price is currently at this point right here. So we had on the Euro USD, we had a sell position, we had a buy position. On the flip side, when we get to the Euro USD, you see what I'm talking about here. So I'm actually looking at the market to actually pull into one or either into this continuation zone right here, and then give us a reaction to the downside. I'll pull up to this fair value gap right here, okay, and give us a reaction to the downside. Mind you, we also have a supply zone at the top here, okay, a supply zone here. So the market may also decide to come into this zone and then react accordingly. However, what we actually expect the market to do is actually to pull into one of these three zones, 1, 2, 3, before making a push to the downside. But our bias in the coming week is to sell the dollar index. Okay, so that's it. I won't mind going down to the 1 hour time frame, as the structure on the 1 hour time frame and the structure display on the 4 hour time frame are similar. So I'll just stop here for now and then move to the next pair, which is the Euro USD. So the Euro USD from the monthly time frame, we consider the momentum is down. Okay, however, we can also see that the market is making a push all the way to this zone right here after absorbing this fair value gap from that was from like 3 weeks ago, so for some months ago, and then it is now heading backwards into this supply zone right here. Okay, so we don't know what will happen, but for now we're actually looking for a push to the upside. So on the lower time frame, we'll be looking at actually buying this market. Maybe the market may give us a reaction from this zone and then push to the downside. Okay, so that's it for the monthly time frame on the Euro USD, as it's not our time frame of concern, but it's good for us to always have a general view, I mean an eagle eye view from what is happening on the highest time frame going down to the lowest time frame of your trading sequence. Okay, so we go to the weekly time frame. Okay, we go to the weekly time frame and we see what is happening here. Okay, we can see that the market actually made a very strong push to the upside. Can we see this candle here, this strong bullish candle here? All right, so what we actually expect the market to do, maybe the market may retrace a little bit and then push to the upside, but however, our key indicator here is this bullish engulfing candle right here. All right, and we see it's actually moving to the upside. So of course, all I'll be doing next in the coming week is to looking for buying opportunities to the upside. Okay, and then so we head down to the daily time frame, where we now start seeing things in clearer details. Okay, we can see that price have been making a push to the upside. All right, we can see price doing this here, and then price came and took out this low, and then how had this final push to the upside, thereby giving us a daily market structure shift to the upside. So like I said, from the weekly time frame, okay, here on the daily, we will see the market pushing to the downside before pushing to the upside. However, I want to draw your attention to something, okay, which is this fair value gap right here. Can we see this fair value gap here? Okay, so the market may want to come back to absorb that fair value gap before going to the upside. This fair value gap right here, the market will want to make a push to this downside before going to the upside. So we're going to act accordingly as to what price will be telling us to do in the coming week. So our bias on the daily time frame is to the upside, as the market is giving us bullish sentiments to the upside. All right, so now we go to the 4-hour time frame. So here on the 4-hour time frame, we can see what price is trying to do. Okay, we can see that price is actually giving us some very nice bullish sentiment after taking out all these lows, and then we now took out this high right here, and then we took out this last high. All this happened from last week. Okay, the major swing that happened last week like this, and then to the upside. So we actually expect price to maybe pull down into this 4-hour zone right here, this 4-hour demand zone here, or this 4-hour demand zone here, one of these two. So we're actually expecting price to pull into this zone, and then we buy to the upside, or it pulls into this zone right here, and then we buy to the upside. However price wants to play, all you have to do is to sit down. Don't forget that sitting on your hand is also a very fantastic skill. It's one of those skills you have to learn as a trader. Okay, so we expect market to either pull into one of these zones before going to the upside. So the federal fund rates, okay, that I explained earlier, that will be coming out next week, will give us good volatility, maybe to the downside, and then before we can look for buying opportunities to the downside. Please always keep to the fundamentals. All right, don't take your eyes off the fundamentals, as it helps in creating good market volatility. Okay, so that's it for the Euro USD. We're going to be stopping on the 4-hour. All right, so our next pair, our next assets right now that we'll be looking at is the yen index. Okay, so here on the yen index, I want to draw your attention to something very critical here. Even though, yes, we actually have the yen to be bearish on the monthly time frame, we have the yen to be bearish on the monthly time frame. Okay, due to the fact that from the fundamentals, like we established last week, that the yen index, the yen currency, have the lowest interest rate in the market across globally. All right, across board. Okay, it has the lowest interest rate. So what have been happening is that investors have been doing what to call carry trades. All right, thereby, and that's what has been pushing the yen index to the downside all along. Okay, but now something very interesting is happening. Okay, now we can see that the market made an attempt. The market made an attempt to actually close below this point right here. Okay, can we see this point right here by this candle? We just have this week, this coming week, for the month of January. That's, we have the next 5 days for the month of January. So let's see what will happen at the end of January if this candle right here we close below this liquidity zone. And my God, if it closes below this if it closes above, sorry, rather close above this liquidity zone right here, which is this low right here, the lowest low ever in history. Okay, let's see if the market will close above this zone, and if it closes, all right, all we can do is to target probably this zone right here for a start. Okay, but now I'm seeing a fair value gap right here on the monthly time frame. Consider this fair value gap on the monthly time frame. So our first target will be to target this monthly fair value gap right here. Okay, we have another one up here, fair value gap right here. So if price actually absorbs this fair value gap, we'll be looking at price coming into this fair value gap right here. So now our bias for the coming week is going to be bullish. All right, so let's see what price have to do in the coming week. So we go to the weekly time frame. All right, and then we see what price is doing here. Okay, okay, here on the weekly time frame, now you now start seeing things, very, very clearly. You see this candle right here. So now price made 2 attempts to actually break this zone. Okay, from the previous week, before the last week, okay, 2 weeks ago, we had this bullish pin bar. All right, price came to absorb orders here before going up and closing above this low right here. And then now it's also printing another bullish candle, which came, still made an attempt to close below, but actually pushed to the upside. All right, so both the monthly and the weekly, you can see it's giving us that bullish vibe, okay, to the upside. All right, so we go to the daily time frame, and then we see what price is trying to do. Also, we can see a very perfect engulfing pattern right here. So you can see this, okay, engulfing pattern right here. So let's see what the market will have for us. Okay, if market will come and eliminate this zone right here, it was a very stronger bias that the market wants to go to the upside. However, I'll still be looking to look at bullish evidences, maybe a pullback down to the 50% of this candle right here, and then a buy to the upside. So we don't know what price will do, but like I said, we'll just keep observing the market to see what price will give us in the coming week on daily time frame. Okay, so we head to the 4 hour. So the 4 hour and the daily have similar structure, and I'm not going to be making much ado about the 4 hour. However, we can just see price playing out very clean, okay, giving us this very sweet market structure push downside, downside. So as it is, even on the 4 hour, price is still bearish though, but we're actually looking for the market to come and make a break of this on the 4 hour, and then we can now see maybe the market coming down, absorbing some order before going to the upside. So my bias for the coming week remains very bullish for the market. All right, so now we're going to be picking a currency pair out of the yen basket, which is the pounds JPY, and that will be our currency of concern for trading in this coming week. So here with me is the pounds JPY, and on the monthly time frame, okay, we can see that already established that this is a bullish time. This is a bullish time frame. The price action here is bullish. Okay, market breaking to the upside, and then so what we just need to do right now is to look at this candle up here. We can also see that price is giving us a good reaction. That's a bearish sentiment on this candle right here. Okay, we're looking at the most recent candle on the monthly time frame, which is this candle right here. We can see that the market is, this candle actually closed a little bit bearish. That's from last week. If we go to the weekly time frame, we'll see that in a more clearer detail. Okay, so also right here on the weekly time frame, okay, just like we had on the yen index, you know, the pounds JPY is an inverse of the yen index. All right, so what do we have here? We can see that the market also gave us two rejection candle, okay, on the weekly time frame. Okay, this signifies exhaustion. All right, so I'll be looking at trading the market into this zone right here for a start, into this weekly fair value gap for a start. All right, so I'll be looking to sell the market. Okay, now we go to the daily time frame. All right, we can see that the market also gave us a very nice print of this engulfing candle right here. Okay, besides this print of the engulfing candle, okay, which is a very strong indication that price will be heading to the downside, is this liquidity that was swept. Okay, we can see that the market actually swept liquidity from the previous high. Okay, swept liquidity and then closed below this high right here. Okay, the market closed below, so we'll be looking at evidence to the downside if the market is going to actually push up before pushing down. All right, so we'll be having bearish bias for the coming week on the pounds JPY. So we'll be looking for bearish evidences to the downside for the pounds JPY. Okay, so we go to the 4 hour. All right, this 4 hour is also having similar vibe about price going to the downside also here. So now what do we have? We have price doing this. Okay, also looking at price sweeping liquidity on the 4 hour. All right, now coming to create a fair value gap right here, which we are going to see on the 4 hour, on the 1 hour time frame. All right, and also price coming to eliminate this low right here. Okay, so we're also looking at price also pushing to the downside on the 4 hour and the 1 hour time frame to this zone right here for a start. So we're going to be buying and taking our profit off this zone if price ever gives us any reason to, you know, go short in the coming week. All right, so our price time frame, okay, I mean our structure time frame rather, all right, for the week is going to be this right here. Okay, so what do we have? We have the market actually making all this drama, all this price move. Okay, can we see this pattern right here and going down, and then price coming to eliminate this low right here, and then now creating that fair value graph I showed you from the 4 hour. On the 1 hour here, you can see the fair value gap more clearer. And then we have an order block right here. I don't actually like calling this order block, all right? I'd rather call it a supply zone. Okay, so price, we see maybe price will push to this fair value gap right here and give us a reason to sell to the downside on a lower time frame, or price will actually push to this order block right here and also push to the downside, giving us a reason to sell to the downside. So I'm actually expecting in the general buyer, in the grand scheme of things, okay, I'm looking to sell the pounds JPY in the week to come. So smart money traders, that's what you have for the coming week for the SMC market outlook. So we're looking at all these currency pairs and we hope that things will actually play to our favor. All right. So I'm wishing you the best in this coming week, and I pray that the pips remain on our side. Okay, so don't forget to always stay disciplined and follow your trading rules. All right, take care and bye for now.